Welcome to Create Your Own Economy podcast, the weekly podcast that equips you with the know-hows, the strategies, tools, and resources to create your own economy, grow your business, and live the life you desire. If you have not done so, hit the subscribe button so you will never miss an episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode. I'm your host, Bumi Ajibade. And in today's episode, I will be speaking with Bayo Ajibade. And he will just share with us his journey to owning his own business, how he came up with that, and just share some of the strategies that have helped him and some of the challenges and how he overcomes the challenges. So welcome, Bayo. Welcome to our podcast on how to create an economy. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, as you know, that the podcast is all about how to create your own economy, your own source of income. It's very important for everyone to have an idea of what they want to do. One of the things we all do is we complain about our jobs, how I don't like the job, I'm tired of the job. Then on Sunday night, we're not happy. We don't want Monday to come because we don't want to go to work. But the thing is, if you don't like something so much, what are you going to do about it? And that is what Bayo is going to talk about. Bayo Ajibade is a licensed clinical psychotherapist in Kansas. He's a doctoral candidate in counseling psychology at the University of Louisville, where he previously completed his master's degree. As of now, Bayo is completing a pre-doctoral psychology internship at the Arkansas State Hospital in Little Rock. And Bayo is a great guy. He is a recovering musician. He still drums on random objects everywhere in the house. He loves to cook. Bayo is a food enthusiast, and he comes up with recipes and all that. And when he's not cooking, when he's not at work, when he's not drumming and making people crazy, he loves to spend time with his beautiful wife, Linda. So I'm happy to have you, Bayo. So my first question is, when did you know that you don't really want to work for anybody? When did you know that?
I would say I first of all, thank you for having me. Very few people ask me about these kinds of things, so I'm happy to share my experiences. I would say that I first really realized that I wanted to work for myself going through university. So about my second or third year in college, having worked a little bit at the school and having decided that I wanted to enter the mental health field, I just got this sense that maybe it wasn't for me to be on somebody else's schedule and to be what seemed to me like a hamster wheel of, working, improving your skills, achieving new things, but being at the mercy of somebody else with how you progress, right? So, realizing the type of student that I was, that I did much better when I was left to my own devices to learn things that I was interested in and to complete things at my own pace. And all of those things kind of work together for me to kind of have the idea that, it was going to be my own business at some point.
Wow. So, and I know you said you don't want to be left at the mercy of somebody else to determine what you need to do, when you need to do it, to determine whether you are due for promotion, and at times, your skill set that you have, they kind of put you in a box, and you are not able to flourish at the rate that you want to. So thank you for sharing that. So what are some strategies that helped you to eventually have your own business?
So I think the main strategy for me was the way that I approached my education. So it's a little bit different for me than most people with a business, because I am my business, right? My skills and what I can do clinically are the goods. It's a service-based thing, right? So what I did in my training was just work intentionally to be exposed to as many different things clinically that I can do, right? So I wasn't satisfied with going through the training program just the way that it's designed, but I went out of my way to get training experiences in private practice, which is kind of what my goal is at the end of this, and also in a wide variety of clinical assessments and evaluations that most other students would not be exposed to. So forensic evaluations, psychosexual evaluations, things that most people don't do until they're well into their career. I made an effort to do while I was in school to kind of put myself in position to be in demand when I was ready to go for myself.
Wow. So you went out of your own way to get more experience, do things that other people don't want to do. That's the thing. Successful people, they do things that other people don't want to do so that they can get experiences and job opportunities that other people are waiting, to get. So, and that helps position you with the skills you have, positions you to be able to grow a business. So as you are trying to do that, what were some challenges? Because you had a full-time job. So what were some challenges as you are trying to cross from working for somebody to actually working for yourself?
I would say probably the main challenge, like with most people who want to start their own business or work for themselves, was financial, to be honest. Having the stability to transition into full-time private practice because of, the dependability of a paycheck that's coming in is one thing. But when you go into private practice, you're at the mercy of insurance company reimbursements. You're at the mercy of patients and clients who decide they don't feel like paying you for a few months. You're kind of at the mercy of other people in terms of your cash flow and financial stability. So that was kind of the main consideration. I was fortunate to be able to work in a practice group that helps make it more stable. So in exchange of some of the finances I bring in with my work, the group shares resources, right? So having people to do billing, having people to set up client schedules, having people to do little annoying things like scan all of my documentation and paperwork that would take me, an hour or 2 hours to do, that I just disappears because somebody else is taking care of it, obviously for a fee. But so, those are some of the challenges that I managed to kind of get around.
Yeah, and I know it took you some time to transition. So preparation is key. Preparation is key because financial stability, I think, is one of the reasons why people abandon their, that yearning to have their own business, to create their own economy, because if they have a business and they're not sure when they will get a paycheck, so if they are not well prepared, then it's like, I need to go back, or I need to go get a part-time job, and also, I think also being able to part of your earnings in the facility where you worked also helped you.
I do think it's important to mention that it was a transition period. It wasn't one day I decided, okay, that's it. It was months and months of preparation, of planning my schedule, of working more than one job. Technically, at one point, I technically had 3 jobs. So it was a lot of effort to go into it. But once I was ready to go, I was stable enough. And I think I'd be remiss to not mention that, I have a spouse. Right? So it's not just me in terms of financial stability and in terms of making sure everything is settled. So that helped a great deal, to be honest. It would have taken me a little bit longer, I think, to kind of get everything settled and ready to go, to make that leap, if not for her support. So
yes, definitely. Your wife bringing in an income really helped at that point. So how would you encourage somebody, maybe there's somebody who wants to maybe take their side hustle into a full-time job? How will you encourage them, especially people maybe in your field, people that have specific skill set? How would what will you tell them? What encouragement will you give them?
First thing first, it's possible, right? You are your own business. You are your own product, right? Your skills cannot be. It can be easy to kind of undervalue or devalue your own ability when that is the product you're bringing to the table, versus, I've created this product and I could rely on how good the product is and try to take myself out of the equation. I more or less am the whole equation.
The product.
Mm-hmm. So just kind of having some confidence in what you can do and what you offer. And another thing I would say is not to be afraid of working hard. Right? So there is a need for balance, and I think balance is extremely important. It's honestly one of the things I've struggled with. But
me too.
Sometimes you just have to do hard things, and it's going to be hard, and it's going to be a lot of work. And that sometimes, that's just the reality of it. You do everything you can in your power to make the best of the situation, to take care of yourself the best you can in the situation, and to draw your boundaries of what you are and are not willing to do before you ever get to those crossroads. Right. So if you find yourself in a situation where it's like, okay, I'm going to have to work every night for the next 2 weeks until midnight to get this thing done that I want to get done. If you've already set up that it's not how I'm going to live my life. If I can't get it done on the weekend, then it's not for me. And it's easier to let go of that than in the moment, every opportunity, jumping at every single thing that comes up. Setting those boundaries for yourself beforehand kind of helps you sustain your strength in the process of building business or practice or whatever.
One thing that you did just now, you kind of separated people that have products. They have physical products that they are selling. Maybe they're selling clothes, they're selling makeup, they're selling something. Those are the products. But when you are the product, what you are selling is your skill set, is the skill set that you have. So it's very easy at times to devalue oneself, because if you devalue yourself, that is how other people will see you. And if you are not showing your strength, if you are not showing that you have value, that you want to give somebody, nobody wants to pay you for what it is. So it's very important that if you lack any skill or anything, go learn. If you know that you are so good at whatever it is that you're doing, but you don't know how to have conversation with people, you are a shy person, can you take some classes? Because if you are so skilled but you cannot articulate what you do, there's no way people will know. There is no way people will know. And confidence, balance, and Bayo, do you know one of the, and you know I read a lot, one of the things that I've seen is that fear of failure paralyzes people, prevents them from even studying. They have the idea, some of them will even write it down, but it's like, what do I do? What if I fail? What do you want to say to those kind of people?
Oof. Those are my people, I think. I think to me, it's a matter of perspective, right? Sometimes we are so invested in everything that we do that it becomes everything. And that, I think that is where the room for fear comes. The room for fear, where fear really takes hold, is when you elevate the goal or the thing you desire above what it really is, right? At the end of the day, what you do for work is not necessarily who you are. There's a separation in terms of the value of your person just as a human being versus what you do for work. And, you know, being able to kind of separate that a little bit and have a realistic view of what failure actually means. You know, for example, if you have to work your side hustle part-time or as a side hustle longer than you think you should, right? So if you, in your dream, you had this plan of, okay, I'm going to do 6 months part-time, and then I'm going to transition over and everything's going to be beautiful, right? Once you get to month 7 in your mind, oh, I failed. This isn't going well, right? Versus this is what I do. This is what I want to do and how I want to approach it. And I'm committed to process of building something. And to fail truly is to not try. If you're working, if you're moving, if you're being diligent, persistent, intentional, then what really is failure, right? You can't fail. You might have a business that struggles. You might have a product that isn't moving the way you want it to. You might have something in the business that isn't going exactly how you want it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have failed, right? It's something that's outside of who you are, right? And as long as you can keep those two things a little bit separated, then, you know, what's there to lose, really? It's just work.
It's just work. Somebody that would say, I failed, that person has not tried at all. You know, you can imagine how many people have failed in their endeavors. How many people? So many people have a project and the project didn't work. They didn't shut it down. They go back to the drawing board and say, what can I move around? What can I do? Can I get a partner? Who, you know, do I need to take a class to get better so that I can revisit that project? So we're going to round up the interview, and I really want to thank you, Bayo, for your time. So right now, what are you into right now? What are you doing right now?
Right now, I am finishing my training. So I'm focused on getting my last little bit of supervised training. And I'm also working on expanding my practice slightly. So I've slowed down a little bit of my clinical practice to focus on my training, but I've then adopted a kind of a second arm of what it is I want to do long term, and in organizational psychology. So learning to work with organizations on leadership development and organizational culture, developing consulting. So that's another part of my profession that I'm very interested in and that I'm working to gain experience. So I've been working with a company recently that does leadership evaluations and development for large companies. And I've just kind of been jumping on some of their projects and trying to help out and kind of learn the process of doing that work. So it's always moving forward, always adding more tools to hopefully build, practice that resembles, my interests that I can pour into day in and day out. Yeah.
So in 2 years, 3 years, where do you see your business? What do you see yourself do in 2-3 years?
Okay. That vision has changed recently. I think at one point in my life, I thought about building a psychology practice in the traditional sense, but I think in 2 to 3 years, I want to be an independent provider, right? I want to be a psychologist, board certified, skilled in evaluations, and just kind of doing the work that I am interested in. I'm very interested in evaluations, forensic, clinical, all basically every type of evaluation I can get my hands on. I'm very interested in organizations. So I just want to be able to do that for a living. Have people give me money to do stuff that I think is cool.
I love to do. And then you on the other hand, you are helping them also, giving them value and helping them in their lives and all that. Exactly. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your focus. And I cannot wait to see the business grow. And so thank you so much for sharing with us. So thank you, everybody. And I really, on behalf of everyone listening, I want to thank Bayo, who in a year will be Dr. Bayo Ajibade, right?
Amen.
So we are looking forward to that. And he has already told me that I need to call him Dr. Bayo. So, if you are ready to create your own economy, if you feel that the job you are doing is not what you envision for yourself, you are the one that can make a change. You are the one that would determine what kind of skills do you need. And if you don't have the skills, go look for it. Go volunteer somewhere where you will learn. You will see what they're doing. You will learn. And if you are ready to create your own economy, but you really don't know, you think you are ready, but you are not really sure, I invite you to go to my website and download the 10-point checklist to check your understanding for your readiness to jump into or to start planning towards jumping into business. Go to clarolgr.com/checklist. And if you have a question for Bayo, you have a question for me, you can type it and we will get Bayo's information to you. You can reach out to him, especially if you are in his field of work and you have some questions. I know he will be very happy to support you. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you on the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. The best gift you can give me is by sharing this podcast with your friends, your family, and reviewing it, which will help this podcast to grow organically. If you want to create your own economy and live the life that you deserve, join my next workshop or schedule time with me. My purpose may as well be to help you on your journey. Visit clarolgr.com/workshop. See you again next week.